Welcome to today's video. Before we begin, I want you to imagine this. You are alone in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. No land in sight, no radio, no engine, no sail, only the endless sea and a wooden raft. Every day, the sun becomes hotter, the storms become stronger, and hope becomes smaller. Most people could not survive even a few days in such a situation. But one man survived not 1 week, not 1 month, but 133 days alone at sea. This is the unbelievable true survival story of Poon Lim. Our story starts in 1942 during the Second World War. Poon Lim was a Chinese sailor working as a steward on a British merchant ship called the SS Ben Lomond. The ship was transporting goods across the South Atlantic when disaster struck. On November 23, 1942, a German U-boat spotted the ship and launched a torpedo. The explosion tore the ship apart within minutes. Out of the entire crew, only one man survived. Poon Lim, thrown into the ocean, he clung to life as best as he could. After almost 2 hours of swimming in rough waters, he saw something floating in the distance, a small wooden life raft. With his last of strength, he reached it and climbed aboard. This raft would become his home for the next 133 days. At first, he checked the emergency supplies. There were a few tins of biscuits, some chocolate, sugar lumps, a big container of fresh drinking water, a flashlight, fishing lines, and flares. It looked like enough for maybe 2 weeks. But Poon did not know when or if rescue would ever come, so he immediately rationed everything. He ate and drank only tiny portions each day. Days passed, then weeks, and slowly, the supplies came to an end. Now Poon Lim had only 2 choices. Either wait to die or fight to live. He chose to fight. He started thinking creatively. From the coil of rope on a raft, he pulled out single strings and turned them into a fishing line. He broke the spring from the flashlight and shaped it into a hook. For bait, he used small pieces of biscuit. His plan worked. He caught a fish. It was a small victory, but it meant survival. Poon learned to cut and dry the fish using seawater and sunlight, so it would last longer. He spread fish strips across the raft to make jerky. When birds landed near the raft, he trapped and killed them for food, and even used their meat and blood when water was unavailable. This was not easy. It was pure survival. Fresh water soon became a bigger danger than hunger. He waited for rain, holding anything he had to collect every drop. Days without rain pushed him to the edge of dehydration. But whenever rain came, it was like hope falling from the sky. As time went on, the ocean's dangers increased. Storms struck his raft violently, throwing him around and destroying some of his saved supplies. Huge waves nearly washed him into the sea multiple times. To prevent this, he tied a rope around his waist and connected it to the raft so he would not be separated in the darkness of a storm. Sharks circled the raft many times. Their fins slicing through the water reminded him that even one mistake could mean death. Yet even surrounded by fear, Poon did not give up. Several times, ships passed by in the distance, but none saw him. Once, a group of sailors actually looked in his direction and still kept moving. Another time, a German submarine came close to his raft but chose to ignore him. The feeling of being so close to rescue, yet still invisible, is something that could break the strongest mind. But Poon stayed determined. His body grew weak, but his willpower grew stronger. He continued fishing, collecting rainwater, and protecting himself from the sun. Even though every day was the same struggle, he refused to surrender. Then finally, on April 5, 1943, 133 days after shipwreck, 3 Brazilian fishermen noticed something unusual floating in the water near the coastline. As they sailed closer, they saw Poon Lim. They were shocked to find a man still alive after months lost at sea. They pulled him into their boat and took him to land. He was so weak that he could not walk on his own. When the news reached the world, people called it a miracle. Doctors who examined him were amazed that he survived such extreme physical and mental torture. After he recovered, he returned to Britain, where King George VI awarded him the British Empire Medal for bravery and endurance. To this day, no one has survived that long on a life raft alone. His record of 133 days remains unbroken. The story of Poon Lim is not just a story of survival. It is a story of human strength, determination, and extraordinary will to live. Even when he had nothing, even when the world had forgotten him, he did not lose hope. He proved that survival is not just about the body. It is about the mind. His story reminds us that even in the darkest moments, when everything seems impossible, there's always one thing that can keep us alive: the decision to never give up. If this story inspired you, make sure to follow for more real survival stories and real-life motivational lessons. Thank you for watching.